Hi, hello everyone. Welcome on our panel discussion DevOps project failures, lesson learned, and strategies for recovery. My name is Grzegorz, but I used to introduce myself as Greg, as I believe my name is pretty hard to pronounce. I'm Chief of R&D at Zopro Software and Git Protect, which is backup service producer for more than 15 years. Together with me, there are four gentlemen, and I believe everyone can introduce himself. So, Grzegorz, let's start from you.
Okay, hi, hello, Grzegorz Sztandera from Poland, currently product owner, but in the past 4 years for building from scratch DevOps operations, competence center, and generally a lot of failures during that time to share.
Thank you, Grzegorz. So, Manuel, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you very much, Greg. So, Manuel, I represent two countries because I'm French and I live in Italy. A lot of experience in DevOps projects. I've been working for companies like Serena, Microfocus, CloudBees, WePro more recently, and so a lot to say on DevOps projects and failures and the recovery for those failures.
Yeah, we cannot forget about the recovery. So, thank you, Manuel. And now let's jump to Max.
Hi everyone, I'm Max. I'm the founder of Liquid Reply, and I call myself a cloud native technology advisor. But what we do in the end is we build with our team together for customers platforms. So we do platform engineering. The last 5 years before that, we called it some way DevOps, but we try to get away a little bit from it, and maybe we can discuss about why I believe DevOps is not the best description anymore.
Thank you, Max. And last but not least, Filip.
Hey, hi from Slovakia to everyone. My name is Filip. I teach developers about testing and testers about development. And I work for a company called Replay.io. We build a browser that records everything that's happening on it. And that means also what's happening on CI. So what happens on CI will no longer stay on CI. So if you have flaky tests, that's where Replay.io comes in. And I'm excited to be here and to talk about DevOps and all the problems it brings. Hopefully, talk about solutions today.
Yes, let's talk mostly about how to solve the problems we met. Thank you, Philip, by the way. And yeah, so as we used to say, we used to learn on mistakes, but only geniuses learn on mistakes of the others. So that's why we would like to share with you some nice stories about mistakes that happen and how to prevent them in future, or maybe how to recover from such a mistake if you had or if you cause any. So let I would like to share with you some short story about one of our customers, because as I said at the beginning, Zopro Software, we are backup provider for more than 15 years, and in our offer we've got also products for on-site backups. And we had one customer who wants to check in live how our solution works. So we sent him our test device. He set up the entire environment. He checked it for more than 2 weeks, and everything went very well. We were all the time in touch with the customer. We get very positive feedback about our solution, and the sales team was pretty sure that the deal is already closed and we don't need to do anything else to make this customer safe, and his data stays with him. But at the end of the POC process, the customer states that, it's very well product, everything works as it should, but I'm not sure if we already need a data backup because we never lost any data. We have probably some more time to implement backup in place. And right now, there are some more important topics for us. And of course, we totally understand the decision, but it was pretty weird that such a huge company it was has no backup in place. In general, there was in total no backup solution implemented. But at the end of the POC process, as usually, we asked the customer to erase all data from the test device to pack device and send back this device to us. And probably you may think what happened. Literally hours after he packed device and passed to the posting company, the company was hit by ransomware. So a lot of data were encrypted. The customer lost access to his resources. He cannot access his databases, some important documents, but luckily he didn't follow our instructions to remove all the data from the test device. So hopefully for the customer, we were able to send back him this device together with all his data, and luckily he was able to restore all his data. So from this story, we can learn that backup is always necessary, and you should follow manuals from the backup vendor, even if you're asking to erase all your data from test device. Otherwise, the backup vendor or other customer may get access to the data. So even if it helped in this case, please do not follow that. Remove always your data, because privacy is very, very important. But keep in mind that always you must have implemented backup, which you are able to restore. And even when you have the best solution chosen, it's very important to work with the right people to implement, to develop the solution. And I believe Max has something to say in this area.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's like not always is it about the solution itself, right? It's about the people and the mindset and the approach you take to come to the way you work and how you implement something. What we faced in a few years ago was a also fairly large customer introducing a huge, gigantic Kubernetes cluster. Need to run in 3 different continents. It needs to be operated also from a restricted area, and so on and so forth. Having different certifications which you need to have in place to operate it. So it was fairly complicated to set it up and follow all the rules. Right? It would be easier just to have somewhere a piece of metal put into the cellar and put a big fat lock on it. That would be better than to go with a huge cloud provider. And it was actually not the first time that with that customer we implemented something like that. So we tried it before, and we very fast find out that something is wrong, and we couldn't give it a name. Right? It was like the tools are working somehow, the platform is deployed, everything is fine. The first applications migrate to it. It's all okay-ish, but continuously we were not able to finish any of the implementation. Always, exchange and replace a couple of tools which were before decided on, putting back in, putting back out, because someone else come with some other concerns and so on. So like the whole team was a constant move, and we also felt it from the customer side that they continuously switch people in and out from their own team side. Due to the complexity, it was not something which fits for everyone. And with a couple of good workshops, we identified that there was a very big misalignment in the understanding of what does DevOps mean for the team at the customer side versus what we were hired for. Right? As I said, nowadays we call ourselves platform engineers because I believe that's the better, more precise definition of what we are doing, rather than we take care somehow for everything from top to bottom. And as Werner Vogel said, 2006, you build it, you run it. I believe that's bullshit. You build it, you maybe run a part of it, but you don't run everything in it. We saw that this was a very big misalignment, and cultural misalignment and a mindset misalignment in the end on the customer side. which you have to tackle on. So how the people understand themselves was either they are DevOps and are implementing things, or they are DevOps and are operating things. Where this comes from, obviously, is because it was two different departments which were merged together, and one of the part of the department comes from an operational perspective, and the other part comes from a development perspective. And suddenly their boss practically expected, like, hey, you switch roles and you do this one, and you go on a weekend and troubleshoot and whatsoever. And that leads to a very high level of frustration within the team. And it leads to that there was a continuous discussion going on places where we couldn't observe it anymore, right? It was like off the table. It was not in any kind of architectural decision record. You didn't plan it in somewhere, some other technical discussions. It was always like on the coffee machine, two people had a hard discussion, or in the evening when they went for an event, they had hard discussions, but it's always off the record. And so there we were learning, like, okay, wait, something is seriously wrong, but it's really, really about the team dynamics, about the mindset, and about how you introduce to that team their new role. Many of them were stressed out, as we found out, because they got a huge stack from cloud provider, putting on top of Kubernetes, putting on top all the different parts you need to run and maintain it, putting applications on top, and then you have it extended to different locations around the globe. So the people had like a huge list of things they should have a look on. And obviously they freak out because it's too much. They came from a world where you have like your application, your single piece of component you took care of. 1-2 years fast forward, same customer, different department. We switched the perspective, just taking care about this big platform around Kubernetes, not taking care about the infrastructure below. It's just an API you're talking to, nothing more, nothing less. It provides you capabilities. The application on top, you don't care. You provide just like the runtime environment. You talk with your customers, obviously, who are running on top of your platforms. But it's not your responsibility to operate and maintain the application. You don't have to be the observability expert. You just integrate observability. You don't need to be a security expert. You just integrate the security and so on. And this perspective from a silo towards like more like a factory or a reliable foundation helped in this case a lot to shift your mindset, put a little bit of release on the mind of the team, and really focus on building the best-in-class platform for them, which is now still running after 3 years and does a thing and has a couple of million of devices connected to it as an IoT backend.
Okay, thank you for sharing this story, Max. So yeah, it's very important to work with the right people. I keeps my finger crossed for the environment to running until the end of the world. Yeah, from my experience, I know how important to have pretty well team and how one person can affect the rest of the team, and how those chats next to the coffee machine may affect the entire project in positive but also in a negative way. So in the meantime, Jorge joined us too. So Jorge, hello and nice to see you. We are just in the mid of our panel discussion, but Jorge, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Perfectly, we can hear you too, Jorge. So it's time for you to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi guys. Good morning here. I am in Peru, South America. So it's morning here. Well, first of all, thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very happy to be part of this group. My name is Jorge Castro. I work as a transformation leader in Entity Data, which is a Japanese company. I have more or less 12 years of working experience working with data transformation programs like DevOps transformation, agile transformation, and so forth with different clients, telecommunication, banking, and so forth. So currently I'm working on that. I'm leading some transformation programs with my clients. And I'm here because I like sharing, I feel passionate about sharing knowledge
Oh,
build communities. So yeah.
okay, perfect. So I believe you have also some nice stories about failures and how to recover from such failures. So far, I shared my story about data backup, as well as guys, sorry, as well as Max about working with the right people, the right team. He let us know about Kubernetes deployment and changing the team, which helped him to solve the problem in general. But I believe this story is way deeper than we have the time to be told to be discussed. So maybe now let's jump to Manuel, because I know that Manuel have some nice history about adaption failure, and as we know, it's not only about having the best solution, because Kubernetes is one of the best or even the best solution in this area. It's not only about working with the right people, but it's also about the right adaptation or implementation, because you might have the best solution, the best software wrongly implemented, and then shit may happens.
Shit does happen. No, just to comment before talking about adoption and the experience. What you were saying at the beginning, Greg, did ring a lot of bells in my experience also, about backup solutions, about and I think I will always remember some kind of joke when I was at the beginning of my career. My boss told me one day, if you want to know if you talk to serious people when you go to a customer site, if you want to know if they are really serious, just propose when you log in to their machine to do rm minus rf slash, which is basically, for those who may not know or not understand because of my accent, remove the complete file system of your machine. If the guy said, yeah, if you want to go through that, okay, it's not necessary, but we can do it, then they are serious because they have backup and they have the process to restart from the backup in minutes, so that you can still work.
Yeah.
If they think you're crazy, then they are not serious people.
Yeah, as we used to say, there are two group of users: one who have already backup implemented, and another one who will have backup.
Yeah, exactly. And and you don't want to work with the one who will have backup. It's
Yeah.
much more dangerous. Uh, going back to the experience, yes. Unfortunately, I have a long list of projects where the solutions of DevOps project, DevSecOps projects, nice projects, where you really believe that you have the right set of processes, you have the right combination of tools, you've been studying a lot of things about communication, about synchronization, about, well, all the technical stuff is clear in your head. It's clear on the paper. It's nearly clear on the machines themselves. The tools are working. You have a wonderful solution. You have a list of benefits of that solution. You're convinced that the return on investment will be terrible. I mean, in the positive meaning of terrible, it will be awesome for your customer, and something is not working. What people don't want to use your solution. Whoa, I have the best solution on earth, okay, and you don't want to use my best solution on earth. Why? Because I don't know what your best solution is about. I'm not sure. I have other things to do. Okay, I have my application features, I have my own customers. I've been working like this for 10 years and it works fine. I don't want to. Okay, I've gone to one of your meetings where you talk about the benefits. it was half an hour. I had a phone call. It's all about, so long story short, it's all about adoption and involving the people who will use the solution, the people for whom you're working to define the benefits. Are they aware of the benefits? Have they been involved in the definition of the benefits? Do they understand the benefits? It's all about. Sometimes I've heard the term arrogance. Okay, it hurts because you believe that you bring a very good solution. You've been working hard on that solution, and people tell, "Oh, that group of people bringing that DevOps solution, that release automation solution, that deployment automation, they are all arrogant." No, we're not. I mean, we want to bring you something, but this is very important, still from the experience. And I've no doubt that each of you could comment and say, yes, I also have that kind of example, to involve people in even in building your solution. Okay, you don't have magic things. I mean, you may have more experience, more skills in defining DevOps processes because you've been studying that for years. But if you don't involve people taking into your solution the way they're working, the benefits they are expecting, because the people, management people you've been talking to may have a slightly different definition of the benefits. The benefits could be financial benefits, while the development teams and operation teams could have morale benefits. Okay, they want to be more comfortable when coming to work in the morning. It's part of the important things in a project. So adoption, which is a very generic name, but adoption is a very, very important aspect of the project. I don't know if, I mean, it does it resonate to some of you in the
You know,
panel also?
I totally agree with you. And from the vendor perspective, I know how other vendors used to say that their solution, their software is the best one, always fits to the customer needs. But I used to say usually during any presentations, any demos, that there are just a few vendors on the market which cover this area, so you can easily test every one of them and choose the one which fits your needs. Even if I'm trying to promote on any way my software, I know that other vendors may, in this particular cases, do their job better. That's how market works.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've been most of us, I think, have been working for vendors, and yeah, when you sell a solution, a commercial solution, you know that the competitors are between 85 and 90%. They do the same. I mean, doing CI, doing CD, or I mean, in the things that I know in depth. Well, there are some tiny differences, but at the end of the day, it's the CI or it's the CD. After that, you have some other considerations, and driving the project is much more important, at least in my experience, much more important than the tool itself.
Yeah, I believe Jorge has something to add.
Think
No,
so,
no,
yeah.
actually, I agree. I agree. Something that I notice is, for example, about providers. Um, something that it's unfortunately very something that happen very often. Very often is that when you are going to hire a provider, basically the providers, some of them prepare the business case, right? And all is about tools, right? I'm going to work with Jira, with the Microsoft, whatever, right? a lot of tools, a lot of success stories. But in most of the proposal, the part of the people it's missing. Okay, what you want, what you are going to do to change the ways of working of the team, right? If you want to implement DevOps or cloud microservices, whatever, what is your plan to change the ways of working? And also how you can be sure that you are going to understand my business needs, you know. I think that is another problem that I notice. Most of the some of them providers are interested more in the technical part, the tooling part, but I think those aspects are quite important as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why between vendors and customers, there must be some integrator who knows pretty well the customer, his needs, the way that the customer is working, and can find the right vendor to fit to the customer needs. So yeah, it's very, as you said, Jorge, also it's very important to know how your team works, how the people you are working with follow the projects, how they use the software to help them to provide the best and the right thing. And in terms of working with the right people, in terms of following the project, Grzegorz has also some nice stories to be told. So Grzegorz, the stage is yours, I think.
I will refer Greg to your backup case at the beginning because I have at least two of them. One was the more physical than cloud ones because one was regarding the maintenance of the main power line to the data center. And unfortunately, during the maintenance, the second line has a failure. So there was no power to the data center for a few hours because of that. And it brings me to the question, how many backups do we need? If one backup is enough, yes? Because also regarding, for example, the physical firewalls, I had a case in different projects that the primary one has stopped working because of the hardware failure, not the software one, and the second one just a few minutes later do the same. And we were lucky because our backup was just by the desk because we got the third one that we could install immediately in the data center, and that was really the backup. Max said about platform engineering, which I love because I believe that when we are starting our DevOps journey, we are a DevOps team, but after having the competences, growing of the number of the people, we are starting to be the platform engineers, and we can do something else, not only the pure DevOps, which is the basics for the platform engineering, in my opinion. Manuel said about business. Yes, I believe that if we are doing some tasks, even if you are rescuing the prod because we got some critical situation, understanding the business and operational context is very important. And this is not only about the technical part of knowledge, but also about the business and operational, to understand what exactly we are going to do, what we should do first, which service, which microservice, which cluster is more important at the beginning. After that, Jorge said about people. I personally believe that people are first, and the technical knowledge and resolution will come if we have the commitment in the team, if we have the faith, if we have the common understanding on the goal, and so on. And I was leading a team of 10 DevOps engineers, providing not only the DevOps services, but also 24/7 support for life-saving processes. And we were hit multiple times by multiple issues on production, and we had to decide if it is more important the current security layer or the application that is working on production. And we were hit by external Jenkins team that was making some maintenance, and for example, for one day we were not able to deliver any build to production. Yes, fortunately, without any need for that. Yes, but if we will have a critical situation, we will have the only possibility to deliver the manual deployment. And most commonly, the end user is also the case. It can also bring the failure to us. I had this history that someone reported that the whole application is not working, and we were not able to reach that person for 2 hours. And for DevOps engineers were working because works for me, but that it's not. And we discovered that the person goes to the market to buy some vegetables or something like that, and he forgot his phone. So there are some cases not only on the technical layer that can bring us to the critical situations. And what is more important than specific cases is what to do before, during, and after the critical situation. So before, we should focus on being prepared. So for example, do we have the proper documentation? Do we have the knowledge of the processes? Do we have the awareness of the procedures? Did we perform some trainings? Did we do some outage tests and so on? Did we share the knowledge that we have? Yes, because potentially only one person will be on call during the weekend, and he don't have in his mind all of the knowledge. Yes, what to do when we really receive that critical situation. We should identify what is going on, integrate the team that is possible to help us with the solution, and at the end inform everyone else, because someone may get the hint what may be done here. And after, it is also sometimes we don't have time for cleaning after. Yes, we do the hot fix, everything is working, so we move forward for the next task, and we are happy that it will never hit us again. And you said that about the sheet. The sheets usually hits the fan, and we got really problem after that. So after we will survive this critical situation and failures in the project on production, we should gather the knowledge why it happened, perform some retrospection, fix the issue if that during the situation was just a hot fix, and at the end update the process and procedures what exactly should be done in the future. I had also the situation that there was some critical situation, small hotfix. We documented it, and it happened after 2 years. No one from the team remembered exactly what step by step we did to resolve it, but we had the page on the Confluence, so we resolved it within few minutes, not few hours again. Yes.
Boomerang issue, as I used to say. Yeah, that's I hate that issues which came back as a boomerang, which you throw out, and then months later, a year later, you're hit exactly by the same issue. And the worst scenario is when no one knows what to do to fix that issue that was solved before, because the person, for example, who solved it is not already in the team, or it wasn't written anywhere on Confluence, Jira, or anywhere else. So yeah, I hate such issues and situations. Okay, so Grzegorz, thank you also, because you've covered a lot of topics, including even my area, which is data backup. And honestly, there is not all in terms of number of backups that we need. There is always not enough number of backups in terms of business continuity. And even as a backup vendor, recently last week we made maintenance of our internal VPN. We had some backup, but this backup also failed due to hardware failure. So even if you are shoe master, you're walking without shoes, as we used to say in Poland. So we've got also a few more gentlemen to share their stories, and both stories are tests related. From my perspective as chief of R&D, tests are one of the most, or even the most important part of software development lifecycle, because this is the last chance for us to stop any issues, any failures to bring to the production. So Filip, it's time for you.
Yeah. Well, we see how that works in real life, right? Because we all want tests. We all like to have them. We all hope that they will give us the confidence we need. But when it comes to real life, sometimes the story is a little bit more messy, right? I love what Grzegorz said about having sort of a retrospective on incidents and make sure that things don't come back around. In my when I was working for the previous company, Slido, maybe you know it. It's a Q&A platform for conferences like these. we would like to say that there are no second chances for live events, right? So for example, the platform we are on right now, if it went bust right now, then not only us, we couldn't talk to each other, but the whole conference would be ruined, right? So when the stakes are really high, the pressure on making sure that you deliver the thing you want and not break anything is much higher. And nowadays it seems like teams worldwide are moving towards a continuous integration. That's like the lovely term we all like to use. But we know that sometimes the integration is not so continuous, right? Sometimes releasing takes a long time. You can have a couple of hours to release something. Sometimes you need to roll back, and that will take a lot of time, right? So how do we usually mitigate this, right? How do we make sure that we can deliver continuously? And the answer is tests, right? There are important part of the release cycle, but also tests are slow, right? But when I say they're slow, I don't always mean the test execution. Of course, the test execution can be the frustrating part, but even the more frustrating part is when tests fail for no real reason, right? If this functionality did not work, we would already know about this. If this like QA would catch it, right? Or something else like tests, when we are talking especially about UI end-to-end tests, they tend to be slow, they tend to fail a lot, and they tend to be slow not in the test execution per se, right? Because you can have 100 tests run in 2 minutes. And because we have the tools now, right? We have Playwright, Cypress, all these new tools we can run tests in parallel. But it's the test maintenance that's often slow, right? And especially when it comes to like instabilities and flaky tests and trying to make sure that everything is green, that's a long story. So recently I done a LinkedIn poll among like the testing community, asking them what takes bigger part of your time, whether it is writing your tests or is it maintaining your tests. And it was like 72%, I believe, was maintaining the test. That takes bigger part of my day every day. And yet, like we're talking about which tool is fastest on CI. Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? So, and the reason why the maintenance takes a lot is because when a test fails on CI, we're kind of blind to it, right? What we usually do, if you find yourself in a role of test engineer, is you try to take that issue that happened on CI and try to replicate that locally. It's sort of like you're trying to catch your own tail. You're running in circles until, it takes too much time and we're frustrated and say something like, oh, you know what? CI is not like a real user, so let's not treat it like that. We're going to mute that test or delete that test or just not care. And I'm sure everyone here online already heard the term alert fatigue, where, oh, this is always red, I'm just not going to pay attention until an incident happens, right? The red light has been blinking at us for too long, we're just going to ignore it. And yeah, I mean, there are nowadays tools that I mentioned, Playwright and Cypress. They added some functionalities to add visibility to CI, which is great. We have Trace Viewer in Playwright. We have the tests replace in Cypress, and they did bring visibility. But there's one crucial thing that I think they're missing, and that is that you see only like the DOM snapshots of the command that was executed, but you don't see the whole story. You don't see the runtime. Ideally, what you would like to have is to have the trace of everything of what ran on CI and then debug it, maybe like have your Chrome DevTools right in the CI and be able to examine that. And I don't want to be too long because I know we're sort of reaching the end, and we still have one speaker to share the story. So I'm just going to give a small teaser to my presentation tomorrow, because I will be talking about something like this. I think we're entering a very exciting era of having a better visibility of what's happening in our tests in CI. So yeah, if you want to learn more about that, then I'll be happy to share that with you tomorrow. So I made a commercial out of this. Sorry about that, but yeah, I'm going to pass on the word.
Yeah, so I believe Jorge has something more to be added in terms of the testing. I can't wait about the story because it's combined with gamification, and it's another one factor I feel lack in the test.
Yeah. Basically the problem was that, common problem, right? When you try to transform your business with DevOps, Agile, whatever, right? Any kind of new technology and so forth. All is about people, because your engineers need to learn new skills and put it into practice. That is the challenge, right? One of the challenge. In my story, the challenge was about that. We were facing a DevOps transformation, and to be totally honest, our testing was totally manual. We had a lot of manual testing. So with this transformation, we need to first of all build new skills for the team. Integration tests, microservices test, and so forth. A lot of test automation, new skills. For continuous testing as part of DevOps adoption, and of course DevOps practices, right, for the engineering team, developers, testers, and so forth. So that was the challenge. The first approach was the traditional approach, trains, a coach, a mentor, engineer, technical lead doing a lot of training, but it fails. Because no matter if you provide a lot of training to people, you open some platforms of learning like Udemy and so forth, um, people is not too attractive to change, right? It's quite difficult, right? I actually that is something that happens in real business. So we noticed that our team, that most of them were very young people, people who likes social networking, who likes gaming on internet and so forth. So we noticed that. So we apply gamification to for testing. We create this game, name it the game of testing, similar to Game of Thrones, but in this case was the game of testing. And basically in this game with Jenkins, we create our some rules of the game, and basically depending of the complexity of your test, depending of the number of bugs that you get with your testing, depending the number of your build that you break with your testing, and depending of the level of testing, right? If you create unit testing, integration testing, functional testing, security testing, and so forth, you get points for you as an individual, and also for your crew, for your tribe, or for your team, right? For your value stream, okay, or for your product. So we ran this game, right, not only in South America, also with South America, US, and Europe, and India, and we compete in a kind of global tournament. you know we create this DevOps Cup in our company, and actually it was very nice, because um, people start to collaborate each other, right? Collaborate to compete, but in a good way, right? Thinking on the product, thinking on try to robust the test, and so forth. So in my experience, it was a very nice experience using gamification to try to build new ways of working, and especially testing skills.
Okay. Jorge, do you have maybe this story also written somewhere on your website on blog to
Yeah,
get deeper, because I get really interested in this topic, and I believe it's something also I would like to think within my company.
absolutely. I can share with you I post a blog about it, and I have a couple of speaking about that.
Perfect. If you can put it on our internal chat, and I believe our moderator maybe somehow will be able also to share it with other attendees, will be great, because probably not only me, not only I'm interested in this topic. So guys, we've got also, I know about one question, but Max letting me know that there is also one more question. So probably we've got two questions to be answered. So let me read the first one I can see there. So guys, how to deal with technical debt when you live something for let's fix it later and you don't have resource afterwards. So how to deal with technical debt?
I can
think
give. So I can
Go
give
first.
very short answer, because if you don't have time to fix the technical debt, you will need to handle the issues and consequences from that technical debt in the future. So it is up to you. Which option do you prefer? On which may be more cost effective or at the end for you? Yes, that's my approach.
No. When you take technical debts, it's always like it should be a conscious decision and you should track them. But if you don't have afterwards resources for it, then well, you can still collect your technical debts, but you will not find a way to solve them over time, which would be problematic towards your environment you are working on. You should always find some time to, not immediately, but like, I don't know, 6 months later, 9 months later, reiterate through your technical debts and see if there's maybe meanwhile a technical solution for it. I mean, the open source market is moving so insanely fast. Theoretically, you can give on the same topic every year the same talk and it will change because tools are improving, approaches are improving, and so on and so forth. So you need to ensure that you have capacities later available, else you have a problem in poisoning your thing you're building.
And just to make an additional comment on that, we're talking about. I mean, the question was about technical debt. The answers are on how to handle technical debt. Doing a small step back, knowing the technical debt is not something straightforward. Also, so. One of the first step, I think, is have a correct knowledge, a correct evaluation of what your technical debt is. From that moment, you can make a decision, solve things or postpone, but knowing is also very important.
Okay. So the best way is just not to make the technical debt in general, but I know that it's impossible in many cases, even from my experience. So we are 2 minutes over time. I heard that there is one more question, but we didn't get this question posted here. So I believe later we will be able to answer this question over the email. I get also the links from Jorge, but I can't share with the audience those links. But guys, if you will write in Google game-driven development, Jorge Luis Castro Toribio, definitely you will find his lecture about this topic. So everyone who's interested can join also Jorge there on the YouTube. And for now, I would like to say thank you to every attendees who join us. I believe you have learned something from mistakes, from failures we discussed about, and you won't repeat them. So at least I keeps my fingers crossed for that. And gentlemen, also thank you for sharing your knowledge and stories. It was really nice to meet you there, and also I learned something from you. So thank you guys, and hope to meet you again.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.